Welcome to the Holistic Plastic Surgery Show, where we dive deep into the hottest trends in health, beauty, and cosmetic treatments. I'm Dr. Anthony Yoon, America's holistic plastic surgeon. Are you like the tens of millions of other Americans whose bathroom cabinets are overflowing with half-used bottles of anti-aging lotions and potions? Maybe you walk into a department store or a cosmetics counter and are overwhelmed with the hundreds of choices, each promising this anti-aging miracle or that. On this episode of the Holistic Plastic Surgery Show, I'm joined by the editor-at-large for New Beauty magazine, the premier beauty and anti-aging publication in the country. Together we reveal the newest trends in skincare and how they apply to you. Are retinoids still tops for anti-aging? What about growth factors, nutraceuticals, and plant-derived stem cells? We'll give you the straight scoop on these popular anti-aging treatments and much more. So if you'd like to learn how to customize your skincare for optimal results, then this podcast episode is for you. So let's get started. My guest this week is an influential beauty and lifestyle expert, on-air spokesperson, beauty curator, and published author. She is an editor-at-large for New Beauty magazine and can be regularly seen on The Today Show, Extra, The Steve Harvey Show, NBC New York Live, Hallmark, CBS, and Fox. She is also a Today.com style contributor and an accomplished product developer. She has acted as a strategic marketer for professional, natural, retail, and specialty brands. I'd like to welcome my friend, Sarah Eggenberger, to the Holistic Plastic Surgery Show. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Sarah.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, I've already introduced you. I told our audience kind of where you're coming from and who you are. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on what is your favorite part of working at New Beauty magazine. You know, I think that's probably a dream job for a lot of the women listening today.
Yes, I'm sure. You know, well, I must tell you that I am entirely happy within this role because for the obvious reasons, right? I mean, to be surrounded by products, I'm not in my office right now because if you'd see it, it's just a mess of products and papers and such. But definitely that side of testing. But there's a whole nother side of the industry, which I think is compelling, is that you're really working with a lot of entrepreneurs and innovative people. And there's always something new and interesting to talk about. So it's fun to see that innovation come alive so often and to see so much passion come through in what people do and what they offer.
And really the magazine is the place for people to go to if you're looking for the newest things in skincare, the newest things in cosmetic treatments, anything from, you know, the ingredients that are the hot ingredients to surgeries, you know, and how to properly have, you know, pick a plastic surgeon and all of that. I mean, it's probably, I think, of all the beauty magazines, it's my favorite one because I think it gives really the best information out there.
We're glad to hear that because, you know, quite honestly, that is the goal. It's not to be based upon only trends or what people are talking about or really skewed to a specific demographics. It's really to come forth with honesty when it comes to it and cut through that clutter and provide, you know, different levels of ways of treating things. So if you say, you know, I really want to have my fine lines minimized, we give the variety of different options, starting with, well, here's a concealer, if you just want that, then here's an eye cream, and then here is more of a treatment, maybe a non-invasive treatment, all the way through, then here's a surgery. And so women can choose based upon wherever they reside on that scale for each of their concerns or skin conditions. So it really is more enveloping of what an everyday person is looking for because you reach all those different levels.
And you guys must be, I mean, just constantly testing products because when I read the magazine, I mean, there's anything from the latest cleanser to, once again, you know, at-home laser treatments to everything in between. And this is something you must be doing all the time, is just testing these products and seeing what you think about them.
We do. We test a lot of products and it is the fun. And then also sometimes the downside, because you're like, oh, what's happening to my skin now? What was that from? Because I've been testing so much. So it's great. Yeah. But we do see literally everything that eventually hits market comes through our doors. So we have such a variety of different products that we try, and you know, each one is different. We have different editors who have different preferences. You know, some people might want more of a clean and more natural route of a product, while others are looking for a more efficacious, really strong hitting product. And so it's interesting to see the responses of how everyone feels about a product based upon their own preferences and then also their own skin type and where they're at with their skin at that moment.
And I feel very fortunate because I've been a part of some of that testing, and I've been sent certain products and said, okay, Dr. Yoon, here's a product. You have no relationship with this company. They don't even know it's going to you, of all people. Try it out and then give us your honest review of it. And then a few months later, I see it show up in the magazine. So
Yeah.
I think, it's a great way to do it because here you are getting unsolicited, really, advice from doctors and from professionals in the industry. And these aren't, we're not getting paid to do it. So that's the great thing, is it's all just, the honest opinions. Now,
right.
Now, knowing kind of all this stuff coming out, what are your trends that you are seeing in skincare and makeup today? What are the ones that excite you the most?
The ones that excite me the most, I would say, really go more towards that blur between makeup and skincare. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing that crossover a lot of skincare with some concealing benefits or some color to it and swapping that around. I think that's a really interesting dynamic, is to have those multifunctional products. People are looking for that. It's ease of use. It makes sense. It really solves a specific need that most women have, is to kind of merge products together without compromising, right? Because that's the key, is one part of that can't be compromised. They both need to be at 100% to really still make a really useful product. And then I also love, and I have some samples here of some products I'm using right now, but I do also love innovative packaging. It's such a simple part of a formulation, but really that user experience, I feel, can make a difference in how you feel about a product. Because really what we feel is completely anecdotal, right? Like, it's all about how we feel about the product and how it makes us feel. Mm-hmm. And so to have everything in alignment, from your packaging through the formulations to the way that it feels to you when you use the product, to me, really is what people should feel when they're using beauty products or skincare products, hair care, perfume, all of it on their bodies.
So going back kind of to the idea of this blurring of these products together, of the skincare and the makeup, can you give a couple examples of what you're seeing that are really exciting that people are using nowadays?
Yeah, so I would say, this is a really interesting product. Let me just pull this up for you. This is Milk Makeup. It's a newer line, and this they call face gloss. So we all know lip gloss, right? This is for the face, and it's a little bit more of, I don't know if you can see that dab. Mm-hmm. Can you see that okay? Mm-hmm. It really is going to just give you some hydration. You can use it on your face, all over your face if you want to, but you can use it on your lips. You can use it down your nose just to kind of add some highlighter. If you want a little blur on your cheeks, you can kind of add it there. Plus, it has a skincare benefit to it. So I really love how it takes something that we kind of all use, and it gives it more application, and it is good for your skin at the same time. So you don't feel bad when you put makeup on, because sometimes, you don't want to put, some ingredients that are not so great for your skin on and wear it for 8 hours a day. Mm-hmm. This is really good for your skin. Plus, it feels great, and it has that makeup glossy kind of look to it with the skincare side to it.
Cool. Do you have any others that you would recommend as well?
I realized I left them up in my bathroom.
That's okay. That's all right.
But the other ones I think I really like is a mineral makeup too. So I love mineral makeup because I feel like using a base powder, a formulation that has SPF attached to it, is so key. Right now I'm using Osmosis Color. I love that product. I do like the Paracone product. They have a blush that they use that is a no makeup color that I just, again, love, that little bit of, touch of color to your face that has those skincare ingredients tied to it. So those are the ones that I am currently exposed to that I'm using.
Have you had any experience with some of the blurring creams? Because I know that's getting kind of popular as well. And that's kind of in the similar thing of what you're talking about, right? These are moisturizers, but which are more skincare, but they also will create this blurring effect to the skin, so you can hide some of your pigmentation and blemishes and things.
Right. So they're essentially like a primer that has more benefits to it. And so taking the primers that have done really well in the market because they do smooth out, and then you add this new technology that really helps to almost, I want to say, firm the skin and also hydrate it. Mm-hmm. So you kind of plump out your skin so then things are smoothed out. There is a great one. Dr. Perricone does have a great one that I love in terms of he has a mattifying one for people who have more of an oilier skin type, which I think is a great option to have. And then you see a lot of these combination primers for specific skin types and these makeup blurs that I do love.
So you're mentioning skin type. And what do you think is the easiest way then just to kind of switch over for people to determine their skin type? Because this is important for people to realize if you're looking for the right products for your skin, you can't necessarily use the product that your best friend likes. That may not work for your skin.
Yes.
So do you have a simple way that people can determine what skin type they are?
Yes, and you bring up such a great point because one person's miracle cream is another person's nightmare, right? Just because one person recommended it doesn't mean it's awesome for your skin or you're going to love it. And really what we've seen emerge is that there's more so of this combination skin. And I'm sure you see this a lot in your practice and with what you're working on. So it's really treating the skin in zones, examining like your forehead, examining your cheeks, your nose differently than all one face. So you treat the different areas of the face, differently. For instance, if you start to feel dryness around the mouth or on your cheeks, but then in your forehead, you're still feeling oilier, you might have clogged pores, you might be seeing some breakouts. And so looking at those different zones and customizing your routine based upon that. And even in taking that to your hair, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who I do this myself, just use shampoo and then conditioner. Mm-hmm. That's it. But really when you look at the hair, it also has its own zones to it. So a lot of people get very oily roots, but then their ends are very dry, right? Especially if they're coloring their hair or using a lot of hot tools, you might have more dry ends. And so how you treat your face and your hair, you might need to work on different areas at a time to really affect it and to have the best benefit versus being universal across your entire face or hair.
So do you think it's important for people to have then a different product for each part of their skin? Like if, one product for the forehead, if that's more greasy, one product for, let's say, the neck area that's maybe drier, or are there products out there that can kind of work with all of those? What's been your experience?
I think the answer is both because it depends on the extremity of it. And so if you do notice that it's just a slight variation, then I do think it's more of an application. So for instance, when you're putting your moisturizer on, to start on your dry areas first and rub that in, and then just do like a light patting, maybe where you're a little bit more oily. And so you're not leaving as much on the skin. But there are people who definitely have a very clear difference between the two. And if it is more obvious in terms of how you need to treat your skin, I do think a lot of people need to use separate products or maybe bypass a step in their routine. So don't put moisturizer on your forehead if you're doing serums up there. That could be enough for your head if you have oily, and then moisture the rest of your face and neck and décolleté. I'm a big component of going all the way down to your décolleté as well, as I'm sure you are too, especially with treating different skin types and seeing different patients. It's all the way through. And then, or if, you have other complications, say you have a lot of fine lines or wrinkles. And so, lather that area up with some great serums and some great treatments to really see a difference in those areas.
Do you have any suggestions for people if they are going shopping for their own skin type? Because I get questions all the time of, say, people ask, okay, what type of cleanser should I buy? I've got combination skin, or I've got oily skin. Do you have some suggestions that you can give the people listening and watching today? If they're going to go out and buy products, how can they figure out what products are best for them without spending the money using part of it and saying, oh gosh, I used 20% of this product and now I can't really return it and I've just wasted my money?
That is such a good question. And it's so complicated, right? Because of all those choices that are around and available.
There's so many out there.
It's so many, which I tend to not to take the easy way out of this question, but I tend to defer to go to your doctor, talk to their estheticians, and have them help recommend products for you because they're looking at your skin, they're touching your skin, they're seeing it in action, and going to people who are the authority who can help you in terms of making those appropriate recommendations. So first and foremost, I always recommend, seeing that skincare specialist. If it is your esthetician, your doctor, your nurse, whoever it may be that you really rely on for your skincare needs, because they do have the best answers, right? Because they're there. If that's not an available option for you and you're online at night and you're trying to figure out what to do with your skin, the first thing is to look to see what your biggest concern is. So what is your main concern with your skin, and start there, and always spend probably the most amount of your budget towards that, because that is always what's on the top of your mind. So for instance, if fine lines are your main concern, or pigmentation, look for serums specifically for those conditions and use that first. I tend to gear people towards some online places. You can find a lot of great help from, bloggers if you are looking for great recommendations. Even places like a QVC, they have some great recommendations when it comes to products. A lot of amazing brands do really well there. Plus they have, some great pricing. You can do to an Ulta. Like, to me, an Ulta is a really incredible selection of products, to a Sephora as well. So first, I'm going to try to map this out, I guess. First is decide what your main concern is, and then look for products within that category. Now, once you're in that category, so once you want to treat fine lines and hyperpigmentation, if you put that search in, a whole list of options come up. So where do you go from there? To me, you want to go with what resonates with you and what brand fits your lifestyle. So if you're looking for something a little bit more clean, if that's a concern for you, you're going to want to search based upon brands that have that same ethos. So now you're cutting through that clutter by, okay, I like a clean brand, I like a natural brand, whatever those words are that you feel are most important. Or if you're saying, I don't care what's in the product, I just want something that works. Then you're looking for just, your most efficacious products. So not that you can't have both. You can also do both. I don't want to minimize the benefits of brands that have merged both clean and efficacious together. But that's some of the ways that you start to delineate which brands you like, because then you're starting to really come up with a handful of brands that fit you. And then you can, look at descriptions at that point and then decide what fits you best. When it comes to types of products, and sorry, I keep going with this answer because I feel like it's so...
No, it's great.
It's so deep. It's so deep.
This is great.
When it comes to like cleansers, is it for nighttime versus daytime, right? Because nighttime, you're probably taking off your makeup. So you need something that's going to be very thorough to take off your makeup. In the morning, maybe it's just more of a gentle cleanser to like balance your skin, to kind of refresh it before you put your active ingredients on. And so when you're going to use it, if you want it for both, one cleanser for both AM and PM, you probably want to find something that's in the middle, like maybe a good gel cleanser, or a hybrid of a gel and a cream cleanser together, which is a really new, interesting category that I personally love. To kind of find that balance for combination skin. Or if your skin is super dry, you just want a cream cleanser or like an oily cleanser, if that's kind of the experience you're looking for. And so you really need to start breaking it down by preference and by when you're using the product and, what your concern is. And moisturizers too, if you can test out moisturizers, the best thing, because there's so many different levels of thickness. And last but not least, not to put a plug in here, but New Beauty has a test tube, the subscription program, where we send you samples of some of the best products that you can actually test before you buy them. And to me, that's such a great way to introduce yourself to different brands and different products, is by testing, these trial sizes, sometimes full size products, to really get the experience to know if you do like them or not.
Yeah, I think that's a great option for people, because some of these products are very expensive, and to be able to spend a small amount of money monthly just to get that box, which would be exciting to get that box in the mail anyway, and to try these new products and see which ones you like. I'll tell you, when they sent me the products recently to test, there were two of them. One of them I'd heard of, I'd used before, and was in a new formulation, which was great. I mean, it was fantastic. The other one, it was a moisturizer, and I took it out of the tube, and it was really greasy. And for me, I've got kind of combination skin. It was not what I was looking for. But my mom, who is 74 now, 73, if she would use it, she would probably love it, because she has that type of skin that would really eat that up.
Yes.
So I think it's very important, just what you're saying, is to try to customize the skincare to what you're looking for. One of the things that I've done, I did a podcast several months ago I called my 2-minute, 5 years younger skincare routine. And this was a skincare routine, super simple, that pretty much anybody could do pretty much for the rest of their life, that really simplified what they need to do with their skin. So if you have somebody comes up to you, they know that you're a skincare expert, and they say, okay, Sarah, I'm throwing all my products away. I'm throwing everything I know about skincare and everything away. I just want to get the bare basic steps that I need to do to take care of my skin well. What would you recommend for them? Because we can all do, the Korean skincare 10 steps every morning and stuff. A lot of people don't have the time and the effort and the money for that. But if somebody's just looking to kind of throw out everything and start over again, and what are some of those basic steps that you feel are absolutely necessary?
Yeah, so a big skincare detox in a sense,
yes,
which does feel good.
Sometimes changing things up can really help your skin. Like if you're not seeing great results and things just, you're kind of stuck in neutral, then by all means, I do think it's a great idea to change things up a bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I always say a vitamin C in the morning and a vitamin A at night. Those are the cornerstones to me of an anti-aging program. And so if you can incorporate those products, I think it really creates a healthy skin cycle and it creates a healthy environment for your skin to flourish. There's obviously other things I kind of, add into that. But if there are two products that I say every single time to somebody to use, it would be vitamin A, vitamin C. So
the reason why she's saying this, and I'm 100% on board with you on this too, because this is what I recommended my 2 minutes skincare routine, is a vitamin C.
This is why we like each other. Exactly. We get along. We have the same philosophies.
So the vitamin C is an antioxidant. So now you're going to protect your skin throughout the day against free radical damage. And the vitamin A is the anti-aging part of it. So you don't need a vitamin C at night because your skin's not being attacked by free radicals. You're sleeping. And so the vitamin A is meant to then reverse that aging process, which is exactly what I recommend for my patients as well. What are your thoughts regarding medical grade products and products that you can buy over the counter or online? Have you had experience with, some of the doctors will say that medical grade products are always superior to what you can buy in a department store. What is your experience with that? Do you find that you can get those types of results with some department store type of products that you can see with some of the more medical grade, even prescription strength products?
So I came into the beauty industry in 1997, and I felt like at that time it was very much compartmentalized. So there was your professional brands, which were either doctor, and there was like maybe a handful of doctor lines, right? At that time, especially because it wasn't as, I want to use the word popular, but wasn't as known to see doctors carrying products inside their office. Yep. It was recommendations to go get them at different places or a prescription. And then there were your spa products, at different spas. And then you had your, what they called retail products, right? So anything else retail, really previous to any online business. And it was very easy for someone to kind of decipher where to go because they thought if they wanted to get more advanced treatments, it was the professional market. And that's where they would find it because it would be coached along with a skincare specialist, whoever that might be, if it's a doctor or an esthetician. And then you would go to a retail environment if you're looking for your grandma's like Pond's cream, right? Like if you had that cult classic that you tended to flock towards, like that's where you went. And there was a very clear line of delineation where now I feel like that line has completely been erased in a lot of ways because there are some medical brands that are now available in the retail market. And there are some retail brands that have not necessarily made their way into doctors' offices, but are recommended by doctors. And so I really think it comes down to the person's preference and skin type and what they're looking for. The reason I tend to find myself navigating towards, I would say, more professional baselines is because that's who I do a lot of association with. So I appreciate the thoughts, the feedbacks of people who are working in that industry to say like, oh, have you tried this? I love this. My patients have really seen a difference with this in this area. And they can be very specific as to those experiences with products. And I love that. I love that matching person to person. I feel like it takes it to a little bit more of an in-depth level than just a description that can only be so many words. So I appreciate that conversational tone to get me to the right products or to try different products, because I do think that conversation really helps us to navigate some of this beauty world.
Yeah, and I think you're right on target with that because for me, we've carried skincare products and I've been in practice now 13 years and we've gone through a number of different skincare lines. And the ones that we have stuck with mainly are the ones that, when people come to see me, they see a plastic surgeon, they don't necessarily want something that feels nice on their skin and that moisturizes but doesn't necessarily change their skin. And so for me, I think it comes down to with expectations. The products that we sell may not smell as good as something you may buy at Sephora. It may not feel as nice, but we're looking at results, And so it is definitely a different type of a market there. But just like you said, things are changing over. And one thing that I've been working on is my own all-natural skincare line, because I do think there are a lot of people who are wanting that, but they're also looking for results, and it's trying to combine the two worlds. I think that for me would be kind of that sweet spot. So,
So not to turn the tables, but to ask you, from your time, your 13 years in business, how do people feel about doing things like the peels and exfoliation and having that downtime? Is that still accepted as much as I feel like it used to be really accepted, or part of the process? Where now people are a little bit more, do they seem a little bit more timid with it, or how do you feel like that has evolved?
Yeah, I think people understand, and I tell them pretty, straightforward that the longer the downtime in general, the more change you're going to see. Now, more and more, we are using technology to do things that we haven't been able to do. One of the most popular treatments now in our office is microneedling, and that's got a pretty short recovery time. I think we are seeing less of the deeper peels that take a week to peel, and we're doing more of the shorter downtime stuff. But there are still those people who are doing those kind of longer downtime things. Because the other thing you got to consider, let's say with a chemical peel, where most of the things that we do that are long downtime are going to be the deeper chemical peels, is that they're less expensive, for that type of change. And if you do a laser treatment that may have 3 days downtime, but it's going to cost you $1,000 more because now you're paying for that technology. And I am seeing some of that, but at the same time, people come to this office looking for results, and they also come knowing that we offer a lot of minimally invasive, but some invasive stuff,
Right.
Going to a med spa where their expectations are very, very different.
Sure.
Well, I've got some things I would love to get your thoughts on.
Okay.
And these are just 4 kind of hot topics in skincare today. And I'd love to hear, just like in a quick answer, maybe a minute each, what your thoughts are. Okay, so we're not going to opine on these too long, but try to get some good, practical information.
Okay, shoot answers, huh?
Here we go. So
all right, I'm ready.
First one, and you kind of answered this earlier, but classically amongst dermatologists and plastic surgeons, retinoids have always been considered the number one anti-aging type of cream. Do you still believe this is the case?
100%. I do. I think it's amazing how good it is for so many different skin types to use retinoids. The different forms are definitely interesting. I think it's interesting to see the different pairings of ingredients along with a retinol, and to see how that can really take you to the next level with your skin. Some formulas being in oils now versus a cream or a gel. So I do like that there's a variety to choose from, and you can choose, just like your patients do at your office, if they want to go a little bit more deeper and they're ready for that downtime and they're going to have some exfoliation, some peeling with their skin, some cell turnover. Or if they're looking to take a little bit of that slower path, and jog versus run to their results and not have any cell turnover, but maybe just take a little bit longer to get to that end goal. And they have that option too. So I love vitamin A's. Sorry, I cannot give short answers. I can tell that.
All right. So Sarah says retinoids.
Yes.
Best anti-ager. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thumbs up.
Nutraceuticals. Now, for those of people who are listening and watching, nutraceuticals are basically ingestible nutrients to help with your skin. What are your thoughts on nutraceuticals? Are they worth trying? Are they worth the money? Have you tried or had experience with some of the commercially available nutraceuticals?
Yes, I have. In fact, that's one of the products I have here. And I think that whole concept of beauty through nutrition is definitely taking huge leaps forward, and I like it. I do think you do demonstrate what your body is feeling on the inside through your skin in a lot of ways. There's definitely ways to treat the skin topically that make a difference, but I do think that, topicals help as well as, doing your internals. This is one that I'm testing right now. It's skin. I should actually put the whole thing on here. This is Skin AccuMax, and it's actually from Jane Iredale. She has a mineral makeup line, and she's just moved into dietary supplements. It has a patent for it, and it's really for different skin types, from acne to aging, all the different variations that they have some different programs for. I like these capsules because they're really small. You just have to, so it's easy to digest. I'm not great with taking pills. So it's hard for me sometimes to take larger vitamins, but those are very manageable. It's a great product. They have great results from their before and afters that we've seen with their acne, and then also for anti-aging too. So thumbs up.
All right, thumbs up to the Nutraceuticals. Okay, so the next one are growth factors. So years ago, there have been some skincare lines that had human-derived type growth factors. The TNS complex, super popular. What are your thoughts with growth factors? Are they a plus, a thumbs up, thumbs down? What about some of the other types of growth factor serums that are out there now that aren't nearly as expensive as some of the ones that have been established in the past?
So I do like growth factors, thumbs up. Growth factors, I think that is a new category of skincare that's really expanded. I feel like, so there's your vitamin A's and there's peptides, growth factors, stem cells, which I feel like have all found their place within the anti-aging realm. Growth factors, from human-derived to lab-produced, I think are all have merit to them if formulated correctly. So with human growth factors, they do, there's no human detriment typically with human growth factors, though I would put up the cautionary tale to always check with the manufacturers to be sure of that before I would make a broad statement, because each manufacturer to its own. There's no regulation when it comes to that right now in the U.S. And so you do have to check with the skincare line that you're looking at. And if it is a reputable skincare brand, there's usually a very specific process that they have to go through to use human growth factors. But I do love how it just really changes that skin cell cycle and really affects it. And you see an incredible recovery to the skin when using it. And I just think it does approach the skin in a different way than a vitamin A does to really help with that healing. And you see them work really well paired together, typically.
Good. So human or growth factors as an ingredient is a thumbs up from Sarah from New Beauty.
Yes.
Okay, so the last one, and this one's interesting. Plant-derived stem cells. So, obviously we know about stem cells. It's a hot topic as far as in health and medicine today. A stem cell, for those of you who are watching and listening, basically is a cell that is so young that if you put that cell in another body part, it basically turns into a cell of that body part. And that's why it's such a big deal in medicine, because let's say if somebody has cancer, and theoretically, let's say they have breast cancer, and the breast is removed in a mastectomy, theoretically, you could ideally use stem cells to try to regrow that breast. Well, we don't use true human-derived stem cells in skincare products, but companies are now recommending products and saying they have plant-derived stem cells. What are your thoughts with that? Do you think that they work? And is this something that people should look for in their products?
So with stem cells, they basically take like a callus of the plant, put it into these green labs, if you want to call it that, and they incubate this one version of the plant to create it to become all these stem cells. And it will continue to divide, as like you're saying, continuously. And so the portfolio of it is that you can really get good quality, the highest quality, within a controlled environment of creating these stem cells. They then, go from that petri dish of growth where they are creating this controlled environment into your skincare products. And so when you see these products that have stem cells, it's a really interesting technology that they're using because of the process that is being created. I do like it from a sense of it is really an interesting way to continue to use plants without drying out our resources at the same time. So typically, if you are using any type of plant-derived product, you're going through the crops to pull those products out, that plant, whatever it may be. And it does dry up our resources over time. And so with plant stem cells, by you just being able to take one little callus and that continuously being able to divide, you are controlling that. And it's healthy for the environment that we're not affecting the land, that the land can be used for other things besides just skincare. So from that side of it, for skincare specifically, I think it's really interesting. I think it has a great natural story to it.
Yeah, I haven't thought of it that way, but that is an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah. So that side of it, I do like, right, to protect Mother Earth. And then when it comes to skincare products, it really depends on the amount and the percentage of stem cells that they put into their products. Like anything, right? The percentage is what makes a difference. And so kind of roping back to your question that you asked about the difference between like medical versus other retail product lines or things that you might be able to find online, is oftentimes they might have the same ingredient, but to a different percentage. And that's where you see that efficacy change, or someone say, you know what, I've used vitamin A's and I didn't see the benefit of it. Well, what version were you using? What was the percentage? Because if you go higher, you'll probably see a different response in your skin or a different percentage. So stem cells, I give it a thumbs up. I think that they are really beneficial when used correctly at the right percentages and for the right purpose. And then I also like the manufacturing part of it.
That sounds great. Well, her name is Sarah Eggenberger, and she is the editor-at-large, correct?
Correct.
New Beauty Magazine. She is on Twitter at SAR Eggenberger, SAREGGENBERGER. And she's on Instagram at Sarah Eggenberger, SARAHEGGENBERGER. So Sarah Eggenberger. What do you do on your Instagram? What are some of the things that you show?
I was just listening to you say that, and I apologize. It's a terrible last name. It's my husband's last name. It's so long. So many G's and E's and N's. But on Instagram, Instagram is more of the pages of my life, to be honest. It shows some of my family life. I have 2 little girls, so there's lots of pictures of them on there. I try to minimize how many pictures I put up. But they are on there. Some of the products I'm using at the time are on there. Some of the TV work they do gets featured on there, and some of the stories that we're working on for New Beauty also get loaded up to the gram.
And I should mention that Sarah and I met on the set of the Today Show, and this was, maybe a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, talking about skincare and the latest products and treatments and all of that. So, well, if you could give one tip to our listeners and viewers today to take a take-home tip for them to look, live, and be better in their life, what would Sarah Eggenberger, editor-at-large at New Beauty Magazine, what tip would you give them?
I am so not good with these answers. I feel like I should have something very philosophical to say, but I don't. I mean, to me, I think the biggest thing is to smile, right? I think that your beauty is portrayed when you are your happiest. And when we look at people, we connect with people, it's always because there's kindness in their heart and the smile that comes through. So all the things that we can use for beauty that make you look beautiful, the biggest thing is what your heart radiates and smiling and being happy.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing such great information today. I think we hit some cool topics, some interesting stuff, and you gave the thumbs up to the retinoids, to nutraceuticals, growth factors, and plant-derived stem cells.
Yes,
so
everything.
All the listeners and viewers, you got a lot of homework now to figure out which you like best, but there are a lot of options for you out there. And if you're looking for more, follow Sarah at Sarah Eggenberger on Instagram, on Twitter at SAR Eggenberger. And take a look at New Beauty Magazine. If you haven't, that is the magazine. If you want to turn back the clock, if you want to take care of your skin, if you want makeup tips, hair tips, if you're thinking about plastic surgery, all of it is in New Beauty Magazine. Thank you so much for coming on.
Likewise, it was great to be here with you.
It was a lot of fun. So my name is Dr. Anthony Yoon, America's holistic plastic surgeon. This is the Holistic Plastic Surgery Show. Thank you so much for watching. Do you want to look 10 years younger without having surgery? Well, my best-selling book, The Age Fix, will tell you how. I spent the past 17 years learning the secrets to turning back the clock and have written all the best of these secrets in this book. This includes the Age Fix diet, simple changes to what you eat that can make a huge difference in your appearance. I'll share with you a simple skincare routine to keep aging and wrinkles at bay. And I'll share with you the best secrets to treat every single beauty and aging problem there is, from age spots to wrinkles, saggy skin to bad breath, saddlebags to hair loss. And almost all of these can be effectively treated without surgery. So are you ready to turn back the clock and kick Father Time's backside? If so, check out The Age Fix. Now, if you purchase it on my website, dryoon.com, you'll get over $10 off the cover price, free shipping, and you'll receive several free gifts, including a bonus chapter that you can only get by purchasing the book there. Thank you for making the Age Fix such a huge success.